Welcome to Comics Bazaar, the channel of comics commentary and arcana. This video features Cyberforce Volume 2, Number 9, cover dated December 1994. And this marks the first chapter of 3 issues in which Chris Claremont reunites with Marc Silvestri. And Chris Claremont in 1994 at Image was introducing readers to his character, the Huntsman, who features here prominently on the cover. So we've got him with his gun up against Velocity, and of course Stryker and Ripclaw from Cyberforce leaping towards him in order to attack him. So what's going on here? Anything like this going to turn out to be shown in the issue itself inside? Not really. And you know, the cover is by Marc Silvestri, inked by Batt, colored by Brian Holgan, the interior colorist as well. So you've got obviously computer coloring going on here. You've got some double lighting on Huntsman's face. It's okay. It's kind of dark. I'm sure that these computer colors looked a little brighter on screen. They're dark here on this printed cover, I would say, and I feel that that is something that doesn't work 100% in the print medium. But let's open this one up to the credits page. So Marc Silvestri there credited as, or credited for pencils. Claremont credited for plot and script. Now what that indicates immediately is that Chris Claremont must have handed off a plot to Silvestri, so they worked up this issue Marvel style, and then Claremont came back in and added the narrative captions and dialogue. Brian Haberlin's the surname of the cover colorist. On colors, Batt on inks, and then there's a team of people working on the digital colors for Brian Haberlin, Dennis Heisler letters, and then down here, very interesting, Michael Turner on pencil assists. So some of these pages are a little sketchier in terms of what Marc Silvestri's contribution must have been, and it seems like he would have been handing over some pages for finishes, pencil finishes, by Michael Turner before it was handed off to Batt and his inking assistant team for the finished inks. But we've got a very nice opening splash page here, more or less, and here we have a character, Alessandra Morales. She is a New York police lieutenant, and she was first introduced to readers in Wildcats number 10, which was Claremont's being reunited with Jim Lee for initially 3 issues, and it turned out 4. And so she was introduced in that story arc in Wildcats number 10. So Claremont has brought her back here. It's a Sunday morning. I like the colors here for the dawn light in this particular deli, and the work on the background there, the counter, the tables, and yeah, it looks good. Like Silvestri's putting some effort into this particular page. So she catches us up in terms of what the situation is. Tommy and me, that's Tommy, or Tom Costello. He's her partner, also introduced in issue number 10 of Wildcats. We got a system. Sundays when we're clear, he makes the sisters proud, takes the wine and wafer at St. Saviour's. I do laps around Prospect Park, grab breakfast and papers at La Bagel Delight on 7th. Church and me, we never got along. God, no prob. We way cool. It's the hierarchy drives me nuts, which is funny when you stop to think, considering I'm a cop, and then a gunshot goes off. So it's a good way that Claremont introduces us into the story world of these characters, and also their particular background, including one with loyalty to his childhood education, going to mass on a Sunday, the other not an atheist, but got a problem with hierarchy. That's nice, concise characterization worked in here to this first page. So she pulls a gun from her bum bag and drops the bagel and heads out, and we've got a double page spread here. And this is quite arresting. We've got one of these hulking robot suited figures, a feature of Top Cow in particular, and of course there's a very manga-esque design to these robot battle suits. And what goes on here, we get it all from Alessandra Morales' first person narration. So we don't have third person narration. So the identity of these high school kids is unknown to us until a little later on in the issue. And that's an interesting choice by Claremont, because he makes the opening in medias res, in the middle of things, and also a little bit of a mystery. So in Morales' first person narration, she says, John Jay's right across the street, big old high school, fills the whole block. First thing I see are a pair of kids booming out the front door like all hell's on their tail. They don't even reach the sidewalk. There they are. They're zapped by this guy. And that's a nice foreshortened in perspective shot by Silvestri. A lot of work on this page, including backgrounds of the skyscrapers of Manhattan, rather, there in the background. So Morales pulls her gun and badge and instructs the guy in the battle suit to drop his weapon and raise his hands. That's not going to happen. He shoots at her, and then she shoots him straight through the visor of his helmet. And that's the end of him. His mistake, she says. So she's on the ground checking for pulses in the two kids. The guy in the battle suit drops to the ground, and then she's zapped. And it's another guy in a battle suit. And he says to her, well, as I live and breathe, Alessandra Morales. So he knows her. Fancy meeting you here, detective. It appears there's a god after all. So interesting, this taking place on a Sunday. But that's a nice top-down shot by Silvestri. Good work here on the anatomy and the pose on Morales on the ground. That is good work. That is full on Silvestri. You can see it here too in the hand, the detail on even the fingernails and those kind of square-shaped fingers that are distinctive of Silvestri's style. So Morales' partner, Costello, he obviously heard the shots too. He comes out en masse. He has his gun also, puts it right up to the side of this guy's helmet. And the guy recognizes him too. Damn, Tommy, you got the drop on me. And this is a great page here. You have the right to remain silent. He begins reading out those Miranda rights. And I'd be really scared, know what I'm saying here, except it looks to me like I'm the one's got you surrounded. What do you say to that? And then the camera pulls back. Silvestri pulls the camera back. Look again, loser. You have the right to an attorney if you cannot afford one. That's a nice little scene. I like the way that Silvestri tells the story here. Remember, this is Marvel style plotting. Claremont's handed the plot off to Silvestri. He's not describing this as a layout or a device of storytelling. It's Silvestri's pulling back like that. That's nicely done. Now, then we have the aftermath of this Sunday morning scene. The children are brought to Methodist Hospital, 2 blocks from the action. They're unconscious, in comas, and Alessandra Morales, the police detective, she is there in the hospital reading to the children. And the nurse says, I think they know you were here. It was nice of you to read to them. Are they friends of yours? And Morales says, never saw either of them before this morning. No ID on them. We got no idea who they are. So she continues, but they're kids, right? They always need someone to look out for them. So the nurse says, if there's any change, you'll be the first to know. And then she comes out of the hospital ward room, and out in the corridor, there is some nastiness occurring. So these guys are addressing her partner, Costello. You better get with the program, Lieutenant. He says, your bitch partner is looking at some serious charges here. She killed a man today. Costello says, as far as Detective Morales was concerned, Counselor, she was acting to save her life and the lives of 2 children. Now look at this. So the lettering here by Heisler isn't 100%. Sometimes letters go right to the edge and outside of the edge of the balloon. Happens here, happens there as well. I wonder how that happens, because if these were hand lettered, there's no way that would happen. So it's got to be a glitch with the computer lettering that's going on here. And there obviously wasn't time to fix it before the issue went to the printers. So then we've got this argument going on, continuing on. Morales asks Tommy, what's the meaning of this? Who are these people? What the hell's going on? So her partner tells her, Detective Morales, Mr. Benny's of the Mayor's Office of Special Projects and Mr. Walsh of Watchword Security. Our perps this morning worked for him. So these guys in the battle suits that were after those two children, they work for Watchword Security, and Watchword Security has the backing of City Hall. So Morales makes the point, you got a problem with this morning, gentlemen? So we're kind of into police procedural territory here with the opening of the issue. Of course, note, this is Cyberforce and there's no sign of Cyberforce so far. So the guy says to her, only with a cop who thinks she's on the star of her own Dirty Harry movie. So Morales isn't having that. She's pretty angry here. And at the end of the day, this standoff, they walk away. And Morales is deeply upset. What the hell, Tommy? What the hell? And he tells her, chill for the moment. Let it ride. So outside the hospital, Costello says the rent-a-robo's screwed up this morning, but there's too much riding on this deal. Money, reputations, careers, clout to actually admit it. They'll try their best to bury it, and if that doesn't work, hang the rap on us. So Morales says they can't get away with that. And he says, wouldn't be the first time, especially where we're concerned. So, you know, the situation here is, are they going to let this drop or not? And up in this helicopter hovering above the city, they figure, listening in on the two cops on the ground below, that they are not going to give any more trouble. So let's see who's in this helicopter. Well, it's the head honchos at Cyberdata, and this character Raglan with his martini there as well. So we learn here that the children are what are of true importance. Chip. So that's Chip, the child that is part of Cyberforce. So any long-term readers are going to recognize him. And Miranda Tai. Now that's one of Claremont's characters, and she first showed up in Wildcats number 10 as well. And readers of Wildcats will know that Miranda Tai has an adult protector, Huntsman. So Dr. Herzog here continues, he says, we must have them, and quickly. The boy's cybernetic and technological genius will prove an exceptional asset to Cyberdata. Through the girl, we will gain access to Empire City. So Wu, Alabaster Wu, in Wildcats mentioned a city, and well, this is a name now on that city, Empire City. So we're going to learn a little bit more about that in this particular issue. Indeed, we'll see it for the first time. So Claremont going into more details about his creator-owned characters and their particular story world, because we didn't learn everything in the Wildcats issues. So Herzog continues and he says, if these detectives pose some threat, eliminate them. So your man Raglan, he's happy with that. He says, works for me. The two detectives have had it coming a long time. And Herzog here says the watchword contract will give Cyberdata effective control over New York's present, and through the Haven project we will define its future. Little punctuation error there. That should be IT, no apostrophe S. So again, a little bit of rushing going on with this issue, going to the printers. No time for edits to correct little mistakes like that. And this guy in deep silhouette is happy with it all, and he's the executive officer of Cyberdata. Make it so, he says. I like this particular page over here. So we get some insight into Morales' apartment. It's a little bit untidy. She's a smoker there. She's got her gun and her badge. Medals out there on her bedside table. A bottle of wine empty from the night before. I like the computer coloring on this. So we've got the coloring of the sheen and shine on the glass. The liquid, just a bit of liquid in the bottom of the glass. And then really nice here, the reflection on the table. And you can see that too with the green glass of the empty bottle of wine as well, and the green reflection on the table. That's nice use of computer coloring. So here, this is a funny bit as well with Morales on her bed in her first person narration saying, when I was a kid, my favorite hero was a guy, considered himself the best there was at what he did, wanted to be like him. So who could that be? Of course, Wolverine, yes. That and is it that she was a reader of Wolverine comics, or, as will become the case, there's the possibility of the crossover with the Marvel Universe. But anyway, it's a nice little Easter egg there from Chris Claremont after his many years of writing Wolverine over at Marvel. So then, while she's on the bed, somebody puts the barrel of a gun to her head. And who is it? It's Huntsman. Remember, any problems with Miranda Tai and the Huntsman should be around. And here he is indeed. He says, Miranda sent me, the girl whose life you saved yesterday morning. She's in danger, but the threat to you is worse. And then the ceiling cracks open. And who is it? Stryker. So another cool double page spread here with Stryker, the central focus, the anchor image here in the middle. Nobody moves, nobody dies. And now we get to see some action. So Huntsman kicks Stryker, can you see it there? Square in his family jewels. And it would appear that they are not cybernetically enhanced. So he's feeling that one, if you get what I mean. And off runs Huntsman with Alisande in tow. And she is concerned to warn her partner, Tommy. But Huntsman says, there's no more time, detective. So now it's a race into the city. So they jump right out the window of the apartment building towards the ground. Morales, naturally enough, thinks he's nuts, and he's caught by the leg. So who is it there except for Impact? He says, hey dude, ain't polite to bail when the party's just begun. Huntsman swings around, no offense stranger, but we have other plans, and starts shooting at Impact. But that, of course, is not going to do any damage to Impact because of his cybernetic enhancements. The bullets just bounced off him. Startled him, yes. This is a nice little DeLuca effect here, and the splitting of the panel into these different moments as Huntsman bounces around the rooftop, still carrying Morales off the top of that sports car and running here towards us. Nicely done. But also, I think at this point, who is it that has taken over except for Michael Turner? We're getting finished pencils from Michael Turner from this point on. I'm pretty sure, maybe even from this page on. The Silvestri elements are receding a little bit, I feel. So Velocity then grabs Morales, and Cyblade knocks the gun out of Huntsman's hand. This is a nice little panel here where they're racing towards Prospect Park, and Velocity is tripped up by Huntsman, who's managed to get ahead of her somehow, even though she's running at speed. So that's interesting. I like this panel, mostly in silhouette, as Huntsman catches Morales. Velocity is unconscious from being tripped up, and so she's handcuffed, and Morales questions her as Huntsman rests on these rocks here. So interesting storytelling in terms of the layouts of the panels and what we get in the panels on this page, including here at the bottom corner, this borderless panel too. Yeah, I like the devices that Silvestri's using here for the storytelling. So what happens is Velocity says, you two better give up. The team will send Ripclaw to search for me. If he has to, he'll track his prey to the ends of the earth. So cue Ripclaw. Here he comes, leaping towards Morales. And Huntsman, of course, knocks him away. So, but again, I do not, the person I see here finishing the pencils is Michael Turner. These are Michael Turner finishes, not Silvestri doing full pencils. So, in a sense, we're a little bit misled with that credits page that credits Silvestri with pencils. Pencils, yes, probably some of the opening pages, but after that, he's handing off breakdowns to Michael Turner. So they tumble across the grounds of the park, and Morales thinks it's a good time to move. And here, the whole of the Cyberforce team turns up. So we've got Cyblade, Heatwave, Impact there, Stryker, of course, nice anchor image of the whole team. But the computer coloring is very dark on these two pages, very dark. So it makes it a little bit difficult to distinguish all the black line work. And again, that's just a problem in this era with the use of the computer coloring looks good on screen, but on paper it can be muddy, it can be dark. So Huntsman is surprised by the arrival of Ballistic here, who brings Morales all tied up. So she caught Morales before Morales could escape out of the park. And Ballistic says, now if you want to tussle some more, Pally, be my guest. But you're a lady friend here, I'll be the first to suffer for it. So what's Huntsman going to do? Well, he allows himself to be tied up. And then there's some questioning going on. And Velocity here says, please, you're a police officer. Chips like family, why won't you help us? And Heatwave maybe says here, you waste your, or maybe it's Ripclaw actually, you waste your breath, little fawn. You're talking to the woman who gunned them down. But Morales is adamant, that's a lie. And Huntsman says, you're wrong, Cyberforce. Detective Morales saved the children's lives from a cadre of armoured hunters. What armoured hunters, someone asks. Cue the armoured hunters. Those armoured hunters. And Raglan here is in the lead. 2 birds with 1 stone. Alessandro Morales and Cyberforce. Ain't it just grand when a plan comes together? So what are we going to get? A big fight between Cyberforce and these armoured hunters? Yes, we do. But we get it in silhouette here. And that is an indication that there's a bit of a deadline crunch. Silvestri's rushing the art. And it looks like Raglan gets the drop on Morales. He's laughing as he puts the barrel to my face, she thinks in her first person narration. I watch his finger tighten on the trigger. I should be praying. It's the end of the Sunday. And then, something unexpected. Wake up. No sense where or when. Wrapped in goo, floating. Fear of drowning. Rage at what Raglan did to me. Imagine my fingers are just like Ripclaws. Tear at the membrane until I'm free. So she clonks out onto the ground from this sack that she has emerged from. And she recognizes Huntsman. Cyberforce, they're all in cocoons just like I was. But what about the battle? Why aren't I dead, she asks. What have you done to them? Blessed mercy, what have you done to me? So, of course, Huntsman isn't going to give us a full explanation here. Instead, he just says, I saved your life, I saved you all. But how? So she says, I'd be grateful, I think, if I wasn't so scared. Ask for a more detailed explanation, please, because I want to know. There's no need, he says, you're quite safe here. And where is here? So just pause for a second before turning the page. Something that I want to say is, once again, the art is starting to get a little bit lacking in detail. You can see that here in the rendering on Huntsman, definitely finished by Michael Turner. This page and that version of Huntsman. Then turn the page, double page spread. What is this place? It's Empire City. So that's where Alabaster Woo came from at the beginning of Wildcats number 10. It's some kind of techno-organic city. That's as much as we can see for the moment. So a little bit of a mystery here in terms of Claremont developing his mythos concerning Huntsman, Miranda Tai, Alabaster Woo, and now Empire City. There you go. I do hope that you enjoyed this review and commentary on Cyberforce number 9. It's the first of 3 issues reuniting Chris Claremont with Marc Silvestri. If you did enjoy the video, please like it on YouTube, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more content like this.